Hello Stampers, and welcome to Laura's Stamp Pad. Today I'm going to show you this gorgeous card showcasing the layered leaves impressed embossing folder, as well as all of the layers that you can create with your circle punches and the Label Me Pretty bundle. So let's get started on this one. To do the background there on Lemon Lime, I actually used the Layered Leaves 3D Dynamic Textured Impressions Embossing Folder. Let's just call it Layered Leaves, how about that? But it is super cool. You'll notice that this folder is different than the other folders. It's really thick. So it's actually so thick that you only need to use one of the clear standard cutting pads. So whenever you're doing your sandwich, you have your multi-purpose platform with either, if you have the old style, the tabs will be open. If you have the new style, it's just without that extra shim, an extra tab. Then you'll go ahead and you'll have your Impressions embossing folder and then one standard cutting pad. One of the other things with these super thick impressions is sometimes you'll get like creases where the cardstock actually like pulls, so you'll see like a line where it pulled the cardstock. One of the ways to stop that is to actually very lightly spritz your cardstock. The wetness then allows the fibers to pull and push with the embossing folder. So I'm just going to quickly spritz this. So just a little wet, like you don't want to soak it or anything. And then we're just going to place it inside here and add that top cutting pad and then run it through the Big Shot just like this. And there you have that gorgeous look. Of course, you can always set this aside and let it dry while you finish doing the focal point of your card if you got it a little too wet. But I have another one that I went ahead and assembled on our card base. So I just added a little bit of that Whisper White ribbon along the center. So I just added the two pieces around to the back side, and I actually used some of my fast fuse to make sure that I got a nice strong seal where that ribbon was, and with all the texture impression of the image here on the Lemon Lime, I wanted to make sure I got a nice strong seal on my card base. Okay, so now we're going to focus on that main focal point. For that, I actually used the Label Me Pretty stamp set and the coordinating Pretty Label Punch, which is this one. So of course you can bundle and save when you get these two together, so that's super fabulous. But you can see that all of these images are nice little decorative pieces that then of course coordinate with that punch there. So for this one, I actually used this little floral image here, as well as the thank you image down here. And I'm going to show you how I did that. So of course we have our 1 3/4 inch circle, and I did this in Elegant Eggplant, so that's the very back. Next I went ahead and I stamped in Wisteria Wonder that floral piece, so I'm going to punch that out with the Pretty Label Punch. And now we have that one, and I'm going to layer that onto our Elegant Eggplant circle. So that circle is just going to round it off there in the background. Next I have a 1 3/8 inch circle, and this is in Wisteria Wonder. So for this one, our next image that goes on top of there is going to be the outside little wreath part of our greetings. So that is from the Thank You for Caring stamp set. So, or I'm sorry, not stamp set, but the stamped image. And I'm going to punch that one out in the 1 1/4 inch circle punch. So then we're just going to layer this on top of the Wisteria Wonder. And then we can add the Wisteria Wonder piece to our other layer, and I'm going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals just because I sort of want it to have a little bit of texture and layer with all of these circles. Well, I ended up adding a fourth one, and then I feel like there's a missing spot. So, okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and layer this down. And of course, course, it looks super fabulous just like that, but I thought I would add one more layer of color. And with that, I'm actually going to take that same thank you stamp set, and the first time I did it, I went ahead and inked it all up in Elegant Eggplant and then stamped it and punched it. But the 1-inch circle punch actually sometimes gets a little bit of that edge around there, and I didn't really like how that came out. So I'm going to go ahead and just use my Elegant Eggplant marker, and I'm just going to color in the words there. Got a little bit of the edge, so I'm just going to wipe that off. And then if you think you did it for too long, you can always just huff on it, which is just blowing a little bit of warm air to make sure that the ink is nice and moistened up. And then I stamped it down. So there you have that image without that edge that we have in our lemon lime. So now I'm going to take the 1-inch circle punch and punch it out. So now we can layer this on top of that lemon lime look here. And there we have that fabulous greeting. Of course, I'm going to add this to my project with Stampin' Dimensionals as well. 1, because I love Stampin' Dimensionals, and 2, because I'm going over ribbon. And a lot of times whenever I'm putting things onto ribbon or on something that is embossed, I like to use Stampin' Dimensionals because the foam on the dimensionals actually falls down in the creases and crevices of those images, so I know that it has a nice strong seal. So just going to pop all those off, and we can add it to our project there in the middle. I finished off this card by adding some of those fabulous gold faceted gems. They really just make that card pop and give it even more texture and bling. I super, super love it. I actually got the idea for these layers here from the fabulous stamper Mary Ellen Stites. She's super amazing. And so I kind of added my own flair to it and used the same concept. So thank you, Mary Ellen, for that great idea. I love swapping ideas with other demonstrators and stampers. It's so much fun. So I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. Of course, I'll be posting pictures of these on my blog, laurastamppad.com, so you can check that out there. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new by clicking down there, and check out some of my other videos right over here. I'll see you all next time. Happy stamping. Bye-bye.